Yeah! You know, it was a rough night last night. A lot of angry protests in Charlotte, North Carolina, following the shooting of Keith Lamont Scott. This comes just days after another black man, Terrence Crutcher, was killed by police in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Authorities say both men posed an imminent threat to responding to officers, but the families say the men were two more examples they feel of Black lives not mattering. So, you know, I guess the question is, what do we do? What do we do about this? Because it seems that it's open. It feels sometimes like it's open season. So I just wonder, do you guys have any ideas?
You know, it's funny, my mom called me yesterday, and, you know, obviously I'm white. You know, my experience has not been that of an African American in this country, but she was so bothered having a child and imagining being an African American woman having an African American son or daughter that's 20 years old or, you know, out at night, and someone assuming that that person is doing something wrong just because of their color of their skin. She actually sounded really, for the first time, really bothered by this trend that's happening among police in the country. And I think that's something that people are waking up to. Maybe people who were hesitant to criticize law enforcement, because there's this perception that you can't criticize law enforcement at the same time stand up for the good that the police force is doing. No, you're standing up for the good in law enforcement when you criticize these moments where cops step out of line. You're standing up for what it means to be an American and what it means to be unified in this country. So people are waking up, and I loved that moment that she and I shared last night, because I think that's representative of what's happening around the country, and people are coming together. They will come together more in the future.
Well, I think we need to consider each case and wait until things come back, because the other thing is it's easy when these are pasted all over the news to jump to conclusions about the law enforcement agents, the victims, everyone, and start telling our own narrative. And I think it's really important, because I dated a homicide detective for years, and he tried to describe once the emotions involved when you're in these situations and how they're just humans, training or not. And I was asking him at one point, you know, a lot of people say, why don't they tase? Why don't they shoot to harm and all these things? He said, Sarah, if I'm standing there and you've got a gun, I'm not bringing a taser. Like, you know, there are moments where you're making a really quick decision. I'm not saying in these instances, again,
go ahead, his hands up.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is all these cases are unfolding in front of us, but he was trying to get me to understand that we make it sound so simple to just do this or just shoot. He's like, there's so many emotions, there's so much going on in those moments that wait, because sometimes, you know, it's a very tough situation on both.
But there's this feeling of intolerance, you know, at the top right now from one of our candidates, you know. He speaks of in an intolerant manner, which only trickles down to people in the country who have a tendency.
This has been happening long before. This is not Donald Trump's fault.
It's not his fault exactly, but he's not helping.
But you can't.
You know what H. Rap Brown said? If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Here's what I feel. I listen to all the voices, and I feel helpless. It gets me incredibly emotional when I think about it, and I think, what can I do? What can I do? And where I realize where I can start is at home, and that's what I try to do. And I was home this weekend with my boys, and they were talking and they were making jokes, and it wasn't necessarily racial jokes, but no matter what the joke, whether it's boy, girl, fat, thin, black, white, whatever, I'm listening, and I went, stop the jokes. And they went, Mom, it's a joke, everyone gets it, we're kidding around. I go, no, not when these things are happening in our country. We are to love one another. We are to love our neighbors as ourselves, and I will not tolerate you joking about that. And so I think I can at least do my part by helping the next generation and at least teaching my kids what is appropriate and inappropriate, and I don't want it in my home. I don't know what else I can do.
That's, you know,
you can speak out like you just did.
What you just said is great, because you know what, look, a lot of this, I feel, and this is just me, when people who are not black can say we see it, we get why, you know, that young the football player, I don't want to mispronounce his name.
Colin Kaepernick.
Kaepernick. We understand why. We get it. We understand it. You know, it's how he feels about what he's seeing in his country.
Right.
There is a problem. If people can just start that conversation with there is a problem, if law enforcement can say to us as people, all of us, listen, we're often nervous out there, and sometimes, you know, stuff happens. It does happen. We've got guns. We are scared because we don't know what's coming either. If it can become about how we help each other, that would really be helpful. What doesn't help is pretending it's not happening, or that it is somebody's fault, you know, or blaming something. You know, it's hard to, you know, we've said, get cameras on the police officer.
Yeah.
So we say, here's the cameras, but people have to actually look and see what's happening. If you see a man who's walking and his hands are up and he doesn't look like people are going, come on, move. You know, if he looks like he's walking, we should question that. If he gets shot and he's like this, even if there is PCP on there, many people will tell you that's not PCP walking. That's not how PCP looks when it's walking. Not that I know a whole lot about it, but, you know, I can tell you that, you know, walking concentratedly straight forward, that's not what you do when you're high like that. So you have to, when we see these things, we have to say, you know, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. Help us understand who you are as police officers so we can help you do your job and we don't feel like you hunting us. Because that's what it feels like sometimes. And I hate that feeling. I always try to, you know, be positive. But I came in this morning, I was not positive.
No.
I was not positive. I don't like being like that.
So do you think when, you know, when the Black Lives Matter thing goes out there and then what the people say White Lives Matter, that shows an insensitivity to the, to the African-American community?
To me, wait, no. Here's what it shows to me, a slight bit of ignorance. Because it's not about, we know white lives matter, we know it, we've seen it. We see, you know, white suspects doing all kinds of stuff with guns and we don't see them get shot instantaneously. But we do see, we have seen a guy in an open carry state saying to the police officer, I have one. Yeah. And he gets shot anyway.
That's right.
So there is a disconnect for us. We know white lives matter. We know this. We've always known it. We just want to bring up the fact that due to the kinds of racism that we've had to deal with in this country, that's been institutional racism forever, for as long as lots of people can remember. You know, because we live with that, we need to remind people, yeah, no, it's not okay to do this. Nobody is okay in this country with any of us being shot for no reason. The police are not okay with it. We as Americans are not okay with it. We're not okay, and that's what we need to say. We have to hold everyone accountable, even when it's not comfortable, whether it's a black cop or a white cop. We have to hold people accountable.
Sorry, to build on Joy's point, when I was hearing White Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter, I knew there was something off, but couldn't quite wrap my words around why is that so tone deaf. And I read into it, and this was an example that worked for me. When people say Black Lives Matter, they're not saying just Black Lives Matter. They're saying Black Lives Matter too. Like you add a two to the end, not a just to the front. And that helped me understand.
Yeah. There has to be an acknowledgement, though, that there's been a different experience. People have to acknowledge that African Americans in this country have had a different experience. It's like people who say to me, you know, oh, why is there a gay pride parade and not a straight pride parade? Well, I'll tell you why, because straight people haven't been discriminated against for decades and decades and decades. So that makes no sense. There's a reason. African Americans in this country have suffered a different experience, and I think it's incumbent upon people who have not suffered that experience to not only acknowledge it, but to say things have to change.
And
that
to
falls on us.
White privilege.
That falls on me, that falls on us.
Yes.
Okay.
We agree.
To me.
All right. I hear you. They hear you. We'll be right back with more Hot Topics.
So, Sarah shared a secret.
You've all heard the 5-second rule.
And 5 seconds is abroad. You don't count to 5. It could be a minute or two. I look at it, and if there's anything on it, and then
A little dirt doesn't hurt. I'm not alone. Catch the View tomorrow on ABC. Still ahead, Blackish star Anthony Anderson.
The Washington Post is reporting that Donald Trump used over $250,000 from his charity to settle some legal problems. Now, I have to imagine this will matter perhaps to the IRS, but you think it's going to matter to voters?
Well, he used money from his foundation to buy a portrait of himself, a 6-foot portrait of himself, and isn't that stealing? I think I've really not given him enough credit. I've been calling him a racist and a liar. He's also a crook.
Donation because he wanted to raise the flag even higher at his Mar-a-Lago hotel.
Yeah.
He wanted to, and they fined him because he couldn't raise the American flag as high as he wanted to.
Right.
So he then donated the $100,000 to the veterans.
But he didn't. He used the money for personal gain. He was supposed to give it to the veterans. But
He did give it to the veterans.
No. He used it
to
himself.
litigate, essentially.
He used it for himself. Period. He didn't give it to the veterans. He used it for himself.
He did give it to the veterans. It's stated he did give it to the veterans.
Read it.
They're talking to
honestly.
Well, I would, yeah. Look, he did wind up.
You have the statement?
I don't have the statement.
Oh, somebody's got the
I have a
statement.
statement to read. It doesn't apply to that one, but it says, there was not and could not be any intent or motive for the Trump Foundation to make improper payments. All contributions are reported to the IRS, and all foundation donations are publicly disclosed.
So the whole story is a lie, that he didn't buy the picture with the money?
I wasn't referring to that. I said another one of them.
Oh, so he was good in that case, but not in every other case. All right. All right, that's fair.
I'm just trying to put more of the facts. I'm not trying to defend.
Sometimes he did, sometimes he didn't, so that's what we're saying.
I think the concern is that he's using not his own personal money, but using money from the charity, which is actually other people's money. That's what people are concerned about.
So what about, maybe I should get the Joy Behar Foundation and start paying my bills through
I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend that because Wyclef Jean had a foundation, and critics raised questions about large payments made to his business and to him, and they found out that it wasn't quite what he said it was, and they fined him a whole bunch of money. So I guess if it turns out that Donald didn't do what he said he was, I mean, one could say it, I hate to beat a dead horse, but one could say, gee, if you put out your tax return,
then we'll know.
People might know where your money. I'm just, you know, I don't mean to beat the dead horse. I don't mean to. But I just think that perhaps if you put it out, that will quell all of this. I call me crazy.
Why he doesn't want to do it?
Why he don't want to do it?
Why doesn't he want to do it?
I think there has to be, in order for this, your initial question is, you know, do voters care? I think when you look at this foundation and you look at the Clinton Foundation, there have been a lot of questions. Unless there's an illegal issue, unless they can find illegality and someone actually goes to jail, I'm not sure that voters care. If you look at the Clinton Foundation, we talked about, you know, more than half of the people outside government who met with Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State had donated, had given money to the Clinton Foundation. That does not sound right to me.
Charity, though.
This stuff with
they
Trump,
used to help.
Yeah, but you've got foreign donations from Saudi Arabia.
But where did it go?
But let's not go into foreign donations because we have a potential president who's going to have to give up being the head of his company and take his name off all the buildings so that when foreign dignitaries come, they realize it's not the United States of Trump, but it's still the United States of America. So let's not talk about who's giving money to who because it's all in the doo-doo pot.
That's what I'm saying, though.
All in the doo-doo pot.
The Clinton Foundation has helped AIDS victims around the world.
So
Has given money. He's running a money. He's running a money laundering operation.
Yeah, but no, you can't say that.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
I can.
There's good and bad.
Go ahead,
There's good and
Sarah.
bad.
Okay,
Go ahead,
without
Sarah.
putting a name on either one, as a voter, if I were looking at these two situations without name or party affiliation, if someone is giving favor to people to have meetings, in my mind, that's politics. I expect that. If someone's taking the dollar I give them and giving it somewhere else without my knowledge, that bothers me. So that's just taking it without names.
So who are you talking about? Which one are you talking
She's
about?
saying Trump.
I'm just saying that. Yeah, no, and I don't mind.
No, let her do it. Let her do it. She's making her point.
Saying
Let her
what I'm
say
saying
it.
as a voter without going straight to the two sides of a party. I'm just saying if Clinton's or Trump's took my money and gave that Trump's took my money and gave it somewhere else, I would have a problem with that more so than playing politics because I think that's part of what politics is. Like,
That would be,
I expect it.
That's great, except she was playing politics with regimes that are repressive against gays, against women, against Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait.
Listen. Her tax returns are clear. You know what the Clinton.
I want to see his tax returns. I want them.
But as you do that, you keep pulling in the Clintons. So let me just say this. The Clintons' tax returns are very clear. If you want to know where they put their money or who gave them money, you can point to stuff and you can say, I don't like that happened, but it's not in a blind.
That's right.
What we're talking about is in a blind and using the money for yourself. That's what Joy was talking about. You're saying that's not what he did. I believe that's what the IRS is probably going to look at because they're looking at it, and now the New York District Attorney is looking into it. So a lot of folks are looking into it.
Fraud.
I just, you know, we don't know what it is, but once we find out what it is, you can best believe we'll bring it to you. We'll be right back when we have more. We have more.
Yesterday we showed you.
Welcome back. Now
I get you. Okay, guys, I have some really exciting news. I'm thrilled to announce that season 2 of Fuller House will premiere globally on December 9th, only on Netflix. So there you go. I'm super excited. Our season this year is very holiday themed. We have a Halloween show, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve.
That's a big one.
Okay, that's a big one. I know. And lots of family. So tune in December 9th. But unfortunately, after today, I won't be back for a couple of weeks because I'm going to film my new Christmas movie. But I'll be back in mid-October, so don't think I went anywhere. I will be back. Well, some of you might be happy I went somewhere, but that's okay too.
No, baby, that's why they call it The View. That's why they call it The View. We're never happy when our table goes away, but have a good time doing it.
Thank you.
Excellent. So you may think that dinner with Barack Obama would be a fascinating experience. But First Lady Michelle Obama showed Stephen Colbert why it's not always that thrilling. that if you ask Hillary the same question, the same answer would happen.
Oh, yeah,
Because
Bill.
Bill does that too. He'll give you answer 1, 2, 3, and 8. I think it's just the nature of the thing. I
He's particularly verbose, Bill Clinton. Put the nickel in and he just goes. You know?
but I think it's because I think it's because when they get home, they can actually tell you the way they want to tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I don't know if I'd want to hear it every day either. Like, I don't, and we have to do it.
Yeah.
I just feel like it must be really hard for him to find somebody who's not going, well, what is it? What did you do? You know what I mean? Where there's not a gotcha.
Yeah.
With the kids, they're just like, okay, Dad.
Yeah.
It's great.
I would love to be there and hear, because he's unfiltered in those moments.
That's
like you're
right.
saying, you know, as president, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, you're always waiting for someone to catch one. You say one word wrong, and that's what the media runs with.
Yeah.
So those moments where he's at the table and can just speak, he must be like, oh, I can just talk. I love
what
it.
I like about that also is that she feels secure enough with him that she
yeah.
can make fun of him. That's very important to notice.
Well,
because
shouldn't you be able to have
I
fun
don't
with your
see
husband
Nancy
now?
Reagan having ever done that with Ronald Reagan. I just don't see it. For example,
But Laura-
or Pat Nixon,
Laura
forget
Bush,
about
I
it.
do say. I think
Maybe Laura.
Laura would have a lot of fun with.
Laura would have done it.
I think so.
And that shows you something about the man, that he's like, he loves his wife, and it's okay to tease
Shouldn't
him.
you be able to do that with your loved one?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Oh, yeah. You got to be able to make fun of them. You got to
Right.
be able to imitate them. They have to be able to make fun of you.
And Steve is like, he goes off like lately. It's like, oh, the septic tank is overflowing. And it's like, when I said talk dirty to me, I didn't mean that.
I always try to get, Max isn't someone that really wants the floor. He's more of a questions guy. He wants
Right.
to know more about me. But I really want to show that I reciprocate my interest. And he's a corporate litigator. Like,
Right.
he's in corporate litigation. So I'm like, I really want to hear about your day. And I really do. But he starts, and then I'm expecting Legally Blonde, and I get like something really confusing to follow. And I'm like 3 minutes in, I'm like, okay, so back to my day.
Baby cried, the baby pooped.
Yeah.
How about you?
It's so bad.
Oh, listen, I think in every marriage, there are those moments where you just, your spouse is talking and you're zoning out, and I do it. I try not to do it with Val, but of course I do it, but I always get caught when I'm doing it, because somehow it comes back to bite me. And
Or
I'll
they
be
ask
like,
a question.
when they ask a question, I'll go, I don't, and he goes, I talked to you about it the other day. You weren't listening.
Yeah, but see, don't buy into that. If they ask you a question after they just told you something and you glaze, then you're busted. But if they told you something a couple of days ago, when you have work, you got kids, you got life, you got
Statute of limitations.
you can't be expected to remember everything. We'll be right back.
Have you sent us your view slide yet? Here's the latest to bounce our way. We want to see your spin on the view slide. Check out our website to learn the moves, then upload your video and post it on social media with #ViewSlide. We might even feature it on the show.
Did you know that the secret to great sex could be as easy as keeping the lights on? According to a new study that found bright lights boost men's testosterone. I'm pretty sure it's not testosterone. Pretty sure it's not the lights, but hey,
I think it's the
and
lights and Viagra.
it triples sexual satisfaction. Okay, so leaving the lights on
Just
for a
for
man,
men?
apparently, it's like the hair color, just for men. Do you ever leave the lights on?
How are you supposed to
Yes.
fantasize about somebody else if the lights are on?
Terrible. It's so bad.
I'm too tired at night.
To turn the lights
So
off?
daylight is there. Is daylight.
Oh, it's daylight.
daylight.
So lights are always on. It's
What do you mean
daylight.
it's daylight?
It's a nooner, Joy.
I get
Oh, she does.
Good morning.
Okay.
Oh,
I like
see.
to wake up Adam.
Oh, so you like sex early in the day? Yeah, I see.
I'm a lights off. Like, I think it's just been, like, I'm not speaking for all women, but as a woman, I've gone through liking parts of my body and not liking parts of my body. So to feel sexual, I need to not see my body.
Yeah.
So,
I like candles. I feel like it makes everyone look better. But I do notice, guys, they try to flip those lights on. I think they like to see
They're
the
visual.
jiggle. They like to see.
They
a lot
love
of
the jiggle.
They like the
Where's
jiggle. They
yours,
like.
though?
I have a little jiggle. I'm not gonna lie, but they like to see it.
You know-
and the stuff that we hate about our bodies sometimes
like-
in the light, they love it. I have this stuff on the sides here that you can grip. I'm
here we
tiny, but I have it. It's like my little love handles. My man is always like, ooh, he loves that. He loves it.
Because he thinks it's your chest. You
Why
know?
don't they just do it in the supermarket if they want lights? You know what I mean? Do it in the, Whole Foods.
I do it wherever I can, whenever I can. In any light I can.
Yeah.
You know?
Whoopee.
But you know what? You know, if I'm in the mood, I'm in the mood. And I don't care if the lights are on. And if I'm with you, I don't care that your body isn't perfect. I'm with you because you're the one I want to play with today.
Today.
You ever watch these Viagra commercials?
Yes.
One of the things about the side effects
Yes.
is, and this is about being older, I guess, but the side effects is the hearing goes a little and the eyesight. I think that's a plus.
Yeah.
They consider that a side effect that's negative. To me, that's a positive.
Are you taking Viagra?
No, I'm just saying. It's better when they don't see as well, they
Or
don't
hear
hear
you.
as well.
But then they're plugging something that isn't there.
Well, you have to
Because
leave
there's the doorway. It's like, I'm over here.
Hey, what's going on? It's Anthony Anderson, and I'm coming up next with Hot Topics. And who's hotter than me? Nobody. Oh, ooh, did you stick around? Find out what I did at the end, besides not win.
What a week Anthony Anderson is having. He was at the Emmys as a nominee on Sunday. He's kicking off the 3rd season of the hit sitcom Blackish tonight. And he's here with us to have some fun. So please welcome the amazing and terribly funny Anthony Anderson. I should have added.
Come here every day.
Yes, you should.
All right, you
My
should.
God, what are you doing? You're disappearing.
He's buff.
You know what? I'm back on that stuff again.
What stuff?
Vegan.
He goes vegan.
No, I'm back on meat. I'm back on the meat again.
Yes.
But I'm just trying to stay healthy and make healthier choices. That's all.
Right. You look great.
Yeah, you look great.
So
I'm wearing Spanx too. I got Spanx on.
They're called minks.
Yeah, they got Spanx, but because my nipples are big, so I gotta wear. They make me wear Spanx to keep the nipplage down on the show because I poke your eyes out if I didn't.
me too, if I could pick them up. Anyway, in Hot Topics, we were talking about 2 more black men killed by police, and now you have a 16-year-old and
Yes.
a 20-year-old daughter, 16-year-old son. What are the conversations you have?
I want you to come home every night. You know, I want you to make it home. Whatever it is that you need to do, make it home. You know, I just bought my son a car for his 16th birthday and had to sit down and have a conversation with him. You don't give, you don't make excuses for them to pull you over and stop you or whatnot. You know, and when you do, there's no need to argue on the side of the road. You know, we will argue later.
Yeah.
You know, I just need you to make it home.
Yeah.
And so that's the conversation I have.
So, I understand you were listening to our conversation, and maybe you were going to weigh in on whether lights on, lights off for sex.
Like, hey, Whoopi, like you, I'm with the one I want to be with, so it don't matter. Anywhere, anytime. I like a little jiggle. I like a little hold on something because I got some stuff they can hold on to too.
Right.
It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. Lights on, lights off, as long as I'm getting some. That's all good.
That's why you always carry the clapper.
Yeah.
Lights on, lights off. Lights off. You know.
Hey, congratulations on your Emmy nomination.
Oh, thank
It was
you.
so great. And it was
Thank
so great to see that you brought your mom and your daughter,
Yeah.
and you guys were sitting in the front row. But I noticed
Okay, bring it
that
up.
when John Oliver won, you were texting or holding your phone. You were on it.
Oh, no, I was texting.
Who were you
I was
texting?
texting. Well, you know, that was right after they didn't announce my name.
Right.
So my interest level was off. Sam Jackson, I was actually responding to a text that Sam sent me, and his text started, interested in something that you're not interested in. I was like, so I was responding. I was like, oh damn, I guess I better work on my poker face, Sam. Okay. But no, I was responding to Sam, telling me to be happy and look, yeah, pay attention to what's going on.
To just to be proud that you're nominated, that's supposed to be good enough.
Yeah, it's
But it isn't really, is it?
Look, nobody ties up their shoe to run a race to come in second place. You know, I'm fortunate to be one of 8 or one of 9 African-American men nominated and leading the acting in a comedy series in the history of television. So I'm in rarefied
good
air.
enough,
Yeah, you know, I'm in rarefied air with those names there. But, you know, yeah, I had my mother and my daughter with me,
What
of
about your
course.
son? Was he there?
No, he was my date last year, and last year my daughter was like, Daddy, you're taking me. So I took her and my mom, and yeah, that's my son Nathan, that's my baby girl Kyra. And, you know, yeah, I wanted to hoist that trophy up that night and thank my mother, because my mother had dreams of becoming an actress. And, you know, she put her dreams of becoming an actor on hold to raise an actor. And so she lives through me and the work that I do. So, yeah, you know, last night, oh, not last night, but that night, had I won, it would have all been dedicated to my mother, as it always is.
Well, in tonight's season premiere of Blackish, the Johnson family goes to Disney, Disney World, and you're trying to make sure everyone has a VIP experience. I think we have a clip.
Well, let's take a look at it.
I would clear across the country to have the most special week of our lives. And if you think you're going to put us with non-VIP people, ooh, I'm not the one, Cody. I'm not the one, Cody. Okay? Now, what is the most popular ride here? And think good and hard before you answer.
Frozen Ever After at Epcot.
Oh, okay. Take us the most shaded route. Johnson's! We out! Let's roll. Lead the way, Cody. Oh, thank you.
All right.
Did you ever go to Disney as a kid?
Hold on, wait a minute. I'm looking at myself on camera. Damn, I look good. Look at the okay, so what'd you say?
After you admire yourself, did you ever go to Disney as a kid?
I went to Disneyland, not Disney World. And you know what's crazy? My mother told me that Disney World is on her bucket list. And I was like, well, that's interesting, because I've always wanted to go to Disney World as a kid, and you never let us know that. So I flew my mom down while we were down there for a week. You know, flew down first class, put her up at a suite at a hotel. I was there 7 days. I saw my mother 45 minutes in 7 days. I called her. Hold on, Mom. Well, yeah, well, I'm looking for. She said, oh, baby, I'm in Tampa. What the hell? Tampa? Yeah, baby, I'm down in Tampa playing bingo with Denise. So my mother just wanted a free trip to come to Florida to see my aunt Denise in Tampa and play bingo.
That's funny.
I was like, don't lie to me and tell me Disney your bucket list. I'm thinking you all up on the Matterhorn, up on Snow Mountain, or whatever them damn roller coasters are at Disney World. But she's in Tampa playing bingo.
But she walked through.
No, she did not walk
didn't
through.
walk through?
She didn't walk through. I don't think my mother stepped foot on Walt Disney World property the entire time I was there.
Mama, next time you got to go through. You got to walk through. But you know what? You can come here anytime.
I would love to.
This is your spot, man.
This is my spot?
We love you. Anthony Anderson, season 3 of Blackish hits up tonight, 9:30, right here on ABC. We, of course, will be right back.
Co-host Lisa Ling returns to talk about how she's living the wild life.
Hello, can you see me in there?
Enjoy surprising unsuspecting taxi riders with one wild ride.
Welcome back. It's day 12 of our 20-day vacay giveaway. Thanks to our sponsor, Wyndham Rewards. Anthony is blindfolded in this win booth today, which is full of numbers that represent today's studio audience, and he's about to pick a winner. Are you guys ready? Whoopi's got the button. Whoopi's got the button.
All right.
It's all you. It's all you, girl. Ooh.
Lift your feet
Here
up.
we go. You got it. You got one? No. All right, come on out.
You can take the glasses off. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. All right.
The winner is 72.
72.
Not only have you won this trip, it's sold out Anaheim Willow Desiree from Rosamond, California. You won a trip to Winds and Bonnet Creek Resort in Orlando, Florida. We're giving away 2 more trips tomorrow. Tune in to see which audience member gets one, and viewers at home need to visit our website by midnight Eastern tonight to see how to enter for a chance to win as well on tomorrow's vacay.
That's right. So, everybody, thanks for coming. We hope you have a great time. We want you to have a great day and take a little time to enjoy whatever view you happen upon.